Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back putting a positive spin on Sweet 16. Sweet 16 is a 1983 slasher film that, for some reason, people don't like. I used to see this Vestron VHS tape at the video store back in the 80s and 90s. The cover art definitely caught my eye, but for some reason, I never rented the movie. I think I was probably afraid of it being another misleading VHS cover. It was just one that slipped through the cracks for me, so I was late to the game on this one. According to Jason, he had the same experience with it. He didn't see Sweet 16 until much later. I had always been curious about it, especially after Code Red released not one but two editions on DVD, the theatrical cut and the director's cut. I own both of those discs as well, but since this Vestron VHS is so highly sought after, I thought I'd show it in this video. Even after Code Red released it, I still didn't buy this movie right away. In fact, I didn't get the director's cut until after it had gone out of print. For years, I had heard that this was one of the worst 80s slashers, and how boring it was. Regardless, something about it still intrigued me, so I wanted to see it. So finally, I bought the theatrical cut on DVD and watched it for the first time with my wife. Before pressing play, I warned her. I told her that while it was a slasher film, it was supposed to suck. We weren't even halfway through the film when she looked over at me and asked, "What's so bad about this?" I had been wondering the same thing. It turns out my wife really liked Sweet 16, and I loved it too. Boring, blasphemy. Maybe if you have the attention span of a goldfish, there is nothing boring about Sweet 16. This is a great 80s slasher. Now that I recall, I believe that first watch was for my Slashback review, for birthday slashers, during the Slashback Challenge. Of course, at that point, I needed the director's cut, so I found a reasonably priced copy online. After subsequent watches of both cuts, I realized how much I love this film. So I tracked down this VHS for my collection. Sweet 16 ended up being in my top 2 of 1983 for Tuesday Top Tuesday. As you can imagine, I have a lot of positives for the film, so let me get into them now. By the way, in preparation for this video, Jason and I watched the theatrical cut. He doesn't own the director's cut. But we figured that's the version most people have seen anyway, so my positives are derived from that version. The opening is extremely atmospheric. The stormy weather, the location, and the guy standing out in the rain. I love that Dana Kimmel, who played Chris in Friday the 13th Part 3, plays Marcy in Sweet 16. I also like that she's reading a murder mystery, which mirrors what is about to happen in her town. Bo Hopkins plays Marcy's dad, the town sheriff. Steve Anton plays her brother Hank, and I love the sibling relationship between the two. For those of you unaware, Steve Anton went on to play Troy in The Goonies. As a matter of fact, I love the dynamic of that family. Marcy, Hank, and their dad. Bo Hopkins is awesome. He was in a lot of horror movies. Don Stroud has a small role. The late Susan Strasberg stars in Sweet 16. Patrick Macnee is fantastic in his role. Then we have Michael Myers himself, Don Shanks, before he played the Shape in Halloween 5. He is a badass in this. Finally, we have Elisa Shirley as Melissa. Yum. She is beautiful. This was her first role, and she's sassy and adorable in it. I developed an instant crush on her the first time I watched Sweet 16. I can tell you, I know Jason feels the same way about her. And before anybody thinks anything sleazy, she wasn't really 15 going on 16 like her character in the film. She was actually 20 years old in real life. Dana Kimmel is adorable too, and I also thought she was in Friday the 13th Part 3. My point is, this great cast is definitely a positive. Another is the fact that Melissa has her own song, Melissa's Theme, and it's catchy, and still in my head since Jason and I just got done rewatching this. I really like the small town setting, and the native aspect to it, with the reservation, plus the Indian burial ground. I love the concept of the victims being guys who hook up with Melissa in some way. Her promiscuity is deadly. Sweet 16 features brutal stabbings and slashings, and I love the way the kill scenes are shot, with the slow motion and sounds. I like the scenes at the high school, especially the one of Marcy admiring Melissa from afar as Melissa's theme plays. Of course, all the guys admire Melissa as well, and you can't blame them. Although, if they get too close, they end up dead. While we were watching this, Jason said, "It's probably worth it." This is all but confirmed with the gratuitous nudity in the film. It includes full frontal with Melissa in the shower, and then again later when she swims in the lake topless. My God. Talk about one hell of an introduction into features. The county records room is pretty cool. I like the dynamic between the sheriff and his girlfriend. Then we have Melissa's birthday party scene. Her Sweet 16. It's very memorable, with the decorative lanterns and the nighttime atmosphere. This movie does a brilliant job with all of the red herrings. I swear, no matter how many times I've seen it, I still have to remind myself who the killer ends up being. That's how good the whodunit element is executed in Sweet 16. And, in the end, there is one hell of a twist. Boring. Get out of here. Sweet 16 offers anything you could want in an 80s slasher. What more is there? It's really a shame this one isn't more popular, and especially more loved. I personally love it, and I know Jason does too. But he'll tell you about that in his video, so please be sure to check it out. Of course, you don't have to agree with what I've said in mine. This is just my positive spin. Have you seen Sweet 16? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. To which hated movie will we next give a positive spin? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.